Welcome to Daytime Ottawa here on Rogers TV. I am your host, Derek Fage. We are going to be talking theatre on the show today. As a matter of fact, theatre that has turned into a video series. You may recall the production company Spicy Day was on a little while back. We'll tell you how they're converting their fantastic award-winning play to a video series. We're going to introduce you to a young actor whose film just recently played at the Toronto International Film Festival. Will be playing here in Ottawa later this week. Tim Tierney, Ottawa City Councillor, joining us. But we start off with Nutrition Month because March is Nutrition Month, and we are joined by Registered Dietitian and owner of NutriSkulpt, Nadine Moukheiber. Welcome to the show, Nadine. Wonderful to have you here. And I love the fact that you call yourself a non-diet dietitian, and that's where I wanted to start. What do you mean by that, Nadine?
Great question. So what I mean by non-diet dietitian is that I do not believe in diets and food rules or any kind of restriction. I use an approach that's based in the principles of intuitive eating. So I help my clients develop personalized tools to help them achieve their goals, but in a way that's realistic, that's maintainable, and that also allows them to maintain a healthy and positive relationship with food.
Well, let's talk Nutrition Month. Why is it so important? What's the purpose of Nutrition Month exactly?
So the purpose of Nutrition Month is really to bring the focus to nutrition because we know that nutrition plays a huge part in our overall health, and also to remind people that the only nutrition experts are registered dietitians. There are a bunch of different articles and there's a lot of information online and people sharing their personal opinions and experiences when it comes to health and food. And we want to remind every single one that if it doesn't come from a registered dietitian, it is very possible that the information shared is not based in science and is probably not as true and valid as we'd like it to be.
I'm glad you mentioned that. I see it all the time. People sharing things that, you know, they don't even look at where the source is, whether it's reliable or not. Each year for Nutrition Month, registered dietitians come up with a theme. Is there a theme this year, and what is it?
Absolutely. So this year we are looking at the ingredients for a healthier tomorrow. And what I really love about this theme this year is that we're really looking at all the angles of nutrition, meaning that we're paying attention to the individual level, but also the environment level.
And we want to talk nutrition literacy. You and I were talking off camera, and I've said, almost 2 decades of doing television. Every time I talk to a registered dietitian, they say people do not read labels. They don't read the labels properly. Talk about the importance of reading those labels because, oftentimes we have no idea what we're putting in our bodies.
That's right. I mean, it is very important to read labels, but above that, what I will say is really pay attention to marketing. Reading a label is important and can be even more important if you have a specific health condition. We do want to pay attention to something like sodium, fiber content as well, and also the different types of fats. So going more towards the unsaturated fats instead of the saturated and trans fats. But what's more so important is really to make sure that we don't fall for marketing. So anything that says healthy and promotes different kinds of health campaigns, we don't necessarily want to fall for them or believe everything they say. The products can be either more expensive or not as healthy and more processed. So keeping things simple and going for a variety of foods and more wholesome foods and less processed foods will usually get you a long way.
That reminds me of the term, we talked greenwashing, right, for many, many years. And I think it's almost like this natural washing that we're getting now. And even just, the color scheme that people use, that companies use when marketing a product, it can fool people if you're not careful, right?
That's absolutely right. That's really, really a very, very unfortunate thing. And we don't have much control over it because the diet industry and the food industry are worried about the money that comes into their pockets. So again, going for variety and wholesomeness versus the processed foods and the nutritional claims is definitely a safer bet.
Nadine, let's talk about the rising cost of groceries. So we're seeing it across the board as we see, gas prices going up, certainly. The effect is that trickle-down effect is that other things go up in price, and groceries is one of the biggest. Is it still affordable to eat healthy? That's a big question that so many people have because they end up turning to a lot of these cheaper products that aren't healthy because of, those rising costs. Is it still possible to eat healthy on a budget?
Absolutely. The thing about health is that the word healthy is being overused and misused. When it comes to health overall, again, we want to try to go for a variety of produce and ingredients. The more variety we have, the more vitamins, minerals, and nutrients we can get to make sure that we stay healthy in the short and the long term. What I do suggest as a first option is to make sure that we reduce food waste as much as possible. We find ourselves buying a lot of food and then wasting a lot of them, especially fruits and vegetables, because we don't use them. The second suggestion that I have would be to choose ingredients that are either in season or local or that are on sale before choosing your recipe so that you can adapt as you go. And the third option that I would have is really to explore outside of your comfort zone. So go for some dried beans or canned beans. Try to look at the plant-based options like the tofu, the TVP, for example. Use eggs and dairy products in multiple ways to make sure that you're nourishing your body and sustaining a good budget and respecting your budget.
Nadine, how do viewers connect with a registered dietitian like yourself? How do they find somebody within their region that they can work with if they want to go, take that extra step?
So anyone can go on dietitians.ca. That will give them access to all the dietitians that are part of the Dietitians of Canada Association, and then they can filter with the region and the specific condition or objective that they have.
Nadine, real pleasure having you on the show today. Thank you so much for joining us. I really appreciate it.
Thank you for having me.
It's a pleasure. Again, as Nadine said, and that's something interesting that Nadine pointed out, because we often, put a lot of emphasis when it comes on reading labels, but we don't put enough emphasis on when it comes to marketing. So something to certainly keep in mind that Nadine brought up. Some great advice. Coming up after the break, we're talking about cleaning up the capital. Ottawa City Councillor Tim Tierney joining us, and it's hard to believe, but it'll be the 29th year of cleaning up the capital. It's a great opportunity for you to get together with members of your community and help clean up this beautiful city of ours. Don't go away. You're watching Daytime Ottawa here on Rogers TV.